Aloha my kako. This is Oracle of the Golden Spiral. Today we're going to be doing a timeless pick a card. The choices that you have are going to be Line Strider Tarot with a Jade Bee, White Fly Tarot with the Larimar Moon, and my anchor that I always use. This is going to be the Healing Light Tarot with the with the Quartz Heart. Okay, so just take a moment and go ahead and pick your deck while I go ahead and talk about the oracle that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use the Lantern Oracle, the Enchanted Map. This is the Hero's Journey Oracle, and then this one is Magical Times. So I will pull all the cards, but I will timestamp at the beginning of that, and then at the end we'll go over all the cards again, so I'll be sure to timestamp it for those of you who don't want to, sit through the shuffling. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. We'll put this here, and this here, and if you chose deck number 1, then this is your reading. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? Okay, you have Eternal Gatekeeper number 32. Acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1, please? That's the one. Strength. Number 44, Strength. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1, please? That's too many. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? Okay. For this you were born. Foster your intention for incarnating in this dimension. Number 22. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? Elegance. It is in the beauty of nature, the lotus waiting to bloom, be the swan on the water and glide. It is found in the beauty of nature, the lotus waiting to bloom, be the swan on the water and glide. Okay, and now your tarot. how do they feel about those who chose deck number 1, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 1? Nine of Swords, Hangman, and last card for those who chose deck number 1. Oh, there's already one in here. You see it before? Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So let's go over your cards. You have for those who chose deck number 1, you have 32, Eternal Gatekeeper, Acknowledge, Assert, and Protect what is right for you. Number 44, Strength. Number 22, For This You Were Born, Foster Your Intention for Incarnating in This Dimension. Elegance. It's found in the beauty of nature. The lotus waiting to bloom, be the swan on the water and glide. The Nine of Swords, the Hangman, and the Knight of Pentacles. This person feels there's an intensity in this relationship, and most of it comes from you. You know who you are. You are assertive in that. You show a lot of strength. You may come up against adversities, and yet somehow you're able to adjust and transform. This person sees that in you and realizes that they must do the same thing in order to collaborate in that space. They realize that this is just a movement of time and of and growing and developing in the world. Oh my goodness, kitty cat. But they may be a little bit hesitant about that. There are times, right, when we are in a certain space and we long for something else. So, for example, in this, it could very well be, it's like, you know, people are like, oh, if I just got a better job, or if I just had, you know, if I just want to find that special someone. Like, we long for those things. And then when they show up, we are kind of like, well, what do we do now, right? We start thinking about all the things that can go wrong, but we see that we need to put in that effort to go ahead and to have things develop and bloom, to understand that it's not just about you and your power in this situation, but theirs as well, right? And so matching that energy, seeing it from a different is seeing it in a different way, incorporating it into their experience. That may be taking them a little bit of time. That may be a little bit difficult for them in this moment. Because when we can say, you know, I can't wait to, like, what is it people always say? Can't wait to find the love of my life. And then when you find them, what? It's not just magic from that moment. While the recognition and who they are, which is who you are here, is so beautiful, the more beautiful, the more intense, the more we feel these feelings, the harder it is to just be the swan and glide across the water, right? We're worried about what's going to happen. We're worried about, is it going to work? We're worried if we're enough. And these are all the things this person's worried about. It will take them some time. It's going to take them some time to incorporate all of this beauty that you are into their lives. It's going to occur. But it's almost as if they need to fit enough of these puzzle pieces into the right place to feel confident and sturdy into this. They realize that there is going to be adjustment that needs to be made because they want to incorporate you into their life. But it is something that is challenging for them. And I don't want you to think that that is, you know, I can already hear people being like, I'm not challenging. I'm very amicable. But for them and in the space that they came from, going ahead and incorporating that in is going to be, is a little challenging for them. And that, I would say that that would be a positive thing because, you know, we don't just change, we don't adjust for just anybody. There has to be, it's because they view you kind of, you know, they put you a little bit up on a pedestal, and that's why it's difficult for them to feel like they can match that energy, and that is some of the challenge that they're having at the moment. This person may have been a little bit stubborn, you know, set in their ways. Perhaps, you know, perhaps they were on a path and this came into challenge and change them in a way where they now have to reassess what's going on. And again, it's like I'm getting this feeling like puzzle pieces, like I need to have enough to know what it is I'm actually building here, to feel comfortable in putting the other foot in the boat. There may be some silence in this situation. And I feel as if I'm supposed to tell you the silence is because they're trying to figure out how to create this in this reality. They're not sure yet, and so there's really nothing to tell beyond beyond that they're trying to put the pieces together, and that's really hard to explain to someone else. But they do feel that you have knowledge, you have this grace and beauty about you. They know that what you've accomplished so far is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to where you can go. And they do want to be a part of that. I think they just don't know how. But they will get there. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight because every step they take is sure. So if there's silence right now, it's because we're going through some type of, this person's putting in the time to find the right places for the puzzle pieces, to be able to set a foundation, to be able to build this. But it is causing them some anxiety because it is, you are what they want and who they want to create with. They just are having an incredible challenge, believing in themselves, knowing that they can make it there. They're not quite sure how to incorporate this into their experience at the moment, but they know in the long run that that's what they want to be there. Over time, this relationship, if they had their way, over time, this relationship would blossom into something long-lasting. And that, pile number one, is how they feel about you. Keep being you. Don't dull your shine for this person or this situation because they will rise to meet you. They just don't know how yet. And I'm getting a cautionary feeling right now to tell you that it's not that they can't catch up. They can. They're not sure how to do that yet. And once they do, I'm sure you didn't choose someone that's incapable. And so if they can recognize all this beauty in you, they must have some type of fortitude within themselves to be able to make up that difference once they can kind of get onto that same line. Just keep being you. They already see and value who that is. Okay, thank you so much. Mahalo, pile number 1, and we'll move on to pile number 2. Okay. So if you chose deck number 2, White Fly Tarot, your reading begins now. These cards are so thick. How do they feel about those who chose pile number 2? Oh, sorry. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? Pile/deck number 2. Oh, so thick. Let's try that again. What is going on? Let's get one good one before we move on here. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? Much better. Okay. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? How is this person feeling about those who chose deck number 2? Transitions, number 37. You have all of the internal resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. Oh, I instantly got bridge builder vibes. Hold on one moment, please. It's like one of my favorite poems. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? I feel like that's the one. Wizard of Awareness. Okay. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2, please? Shuffle and then take from the middle. Yours are like not wanting to come out, but letting me know where they are. Trip the Light Fantastic. Dance with the Universe. Oh, this person... Oh, let's not get into it too soon. This person sees you in flow. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2, please? See? Mercy. Let compassion fill your world. Offer kindness to all living things. What you give, you also receive. Oh, this person sees you in flow. That's attractive to them. They may not even know why. Okay. What do we have for... How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2, please? I want you to really come out. There's 78 cards in this deck. So I want it to really flip out. There you go. 6 of Pentacles. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? 9 of Cups. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 2? Okay, the Star and the 3 of Pentacles. This person This person sees you in flow, but let's go ahead and take a look at the cards that we have. If you chose deck number 2, you have number 37, transitions. You have all of the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. Number 3, Wizard of Awareness. Number 23, Trip the Light Fantastic, Dance with the Universe. Mercy, let compassion fill your world. Offer kindness to all living things. What you give, you also receive. The 6 of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups, the Star, and the 3 of Pentacles. This person either sees you getting into flow, they are watching as you engage with the universe and are building internally for yourself. They are seeing they may not understand spirituality, but they are seeing the depths of you in that light. Whatever you're doing, if you're trying to, put yourself first, find the joy in the little things. If you are on a path of development or spiritual growth, they may not understand what that looks like or what that's all about, but they can feel it. They can sense it and they can feel it. This person watches as things that they're able to feel that development. I don't know how to explain it in words. I'm having a really hard time. I'm sorry. But what I can tell you is that they want a piece of it. Like, when someone is in flow and everything's working for them, you want to be in that energy. And so they are feeling that energy. They are seeing what is happening with you. And while they may not understand it, they can feel that connection that you're having with the universe. You may have decided recently to just even to not, this feels like a situation where we moved out of tit for tat into, you know what, I'm just going to be the bigger person. There's an element of that in it, and it may be coming from your side. And what that's doing is it's making them feel like they want to reciprocate that energy. It makes them feel like they want to exist in a dynamic with you that is really highlighting the high points, right? And this person does see you as their wish, and they do want to grow and develop and to build with you. Whether or not they recognize that the universe is, that you are in flow with the universe, that the universe is on your side because you are doing that, you are, it may have been a previous relationship or it may be this relationship, but there has been, I can feel the change, the energy change, and it feels as if there was some kind of awakening for you. And with that, what's happening is the dynamic, it's like you, whether it's in this relationship or just in you focusing on you and doing what it is that you need to take care of, that energy has shifted. And it's kind of drawing this person into that energy field. It's like they want to be in it. And so with that comes a lot more equal give and take, a lot more calmness, a lot more focusing and highlighting of the sounds so lame, but like focusing on the positive aspects, on what feels good, on what sounds good, on what goes to provide emotional satisfaction, right? We're concentrating on the things that, the positive nature of it. So this is not a relationship where there's constant bickering. There may have been in the past, but it's almost as if there was a pay it forward kind of experience, which set this off and their feelings off in a different direction, which is to be equitable in your folks interaction, to want to develop and to get to their dream. There's a lot of wish fulfillment here, right? A lot of healing, a lot of wish fulfillment that comes with that. And that is being used and looked to. I talked about, if you stayed with me during the shuffling, I was like, oh, I'm getting that bridge builder poem coming out immediately because of the bridges that arise on your path. But we build those bridges, right? We trust ourselves to be able to move into this different realm, and it really has nothing to do with that other person. It has to do with ourselves. So if you've been doing eternal growth, if you've been trusting yourself to move along that path, if you've been reaching into having that communication with the universe and your higher self to develop, all of that exhibits itself in beauty, and this person wants to be a part of it. They want to grow and develop that because they realize that that's where their true dreams are going to unfold. Flow, that state of flow, is really attractive to others around you. And while in some cases it can go ahead and it can, it can do terrible things. Like once we get into flow, we feel so much in flow that we can get a little bit egoic about it, and that's when we kind of fall out of flow. It can also serve to, create the envy and jealousy of others who want to throw sticks into our bike path and things of that nature. But in this situation with this person, it really feels as if you have somehow found your flow. You're co-creating with the universe, and that beauty is attracting this person to want to come and participate with what's going on. If this isn't your scenario, then I'm here to tell you that this is an incredibly key element of it, and it's about getting confident with yourself and putting and doing something to pay it forward. And the reason I say that is because that's how they see you. So that is how they see you. That is what is attracting this person to you. So if this is somebody that you're interested in or care about, and this isn't what you're going through, they see you far more developed than you are. And it's almost as if that in itself is a message to let you know that you have what it takes, and that by co-creating with the universe, so much more of this can develop for you, and that this will actually turn out to be a pretty amazing team. This person is somebody who you folks can find your own personal emotional fulfillment and satisfaction, but also there's there's an interchange of energy, which only helps to greater develop it and to build it bigger than it was before. But they're drawing me back to that energy that I had earlier that comes from the bridge builder. And it's, I guess, because I haven't said this yet. But the bridge builder is about going through something, and even though you've already been through it, it's about turning around, right? It essentially, in the poem, you can go ahead and look it up. It's one of my favorite poems, but it's about someone with experience who realizes that there's no bridge over this river. And so they move across this treacherous river, and risk their life in this treacherous river to get to the other side. And when they turn around, they've already gone through it, and it doesn't matter. But they don't just head off on their journey. They turn around and build a bridge so that somebody else won't have the challenge and the experience that they had, because they have the ability to go ahead and make a difference. Oh. Sorry about that. Kitty cat wants to be a movie star. So, yeah. I feel like it gave me that at the beginning. I didn't do it justice, and that's why it's asking me to do that again. It's really, this person feels that you are someone who has the ability to give. It's like paying it forward. It's about helping someone through what they've already been through. Either that, or this person is that person for you. And in that case, hold on to them, because they have a lot of great knowledge that will serve you and your development in the future. Okay, deck number 2, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. Mahalo. And we're going to move on to deck number 3. Oh, if you are still here, go ahead and put a little, I don't know, what are the emojis? Wizard, put a little wizard in the comments so that we know that you got deck number 2. Okay. If you chose deck number 3, the Healing Light Tarot, this is where your reading begins. What do we have for, how do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? Okay. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3, please? Please show us how they feel about those who chose deck number 3. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3, please? Creative Power number 12. Oh, deck number 1 got this. Release your alchemical energy into the world. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? Metamorphosis. Number 25, Metamorphosis. Okay. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? Say yes to your higher calling. Be a human, exclamation mark. Number 12. Oh, 12, 12. How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3, please? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3? How do they feel about those who chose deck number 3, please? We have Dreamer. Your dreams have chosen you. Find fulfillment in pursuing your destiny. This is the magic of life. Okay. And for those who chose deck number 3, how does their person feel about them? How does the person most on their mind feel about them? Okay, you have the 6 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the Judgment. Okay, how does this person feel about you? If you chose deck number 3, you got 12. Oh, this is, we'll go ahead and timestamp it here. If you chose deck number 3, you have 12, creative power. Release your alchemical energy into the world. 25, metamorphosis. Number 12, say yes to your higher calling. Be a human, exclamation mark. Dreamer, your dreams have chosen you. Find fulfillment in pursuing your destiny. This is the magic of life. The 6 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the Judgment. Right off the bat, I will say that there is something about you that doesn't conform to the general, I'm getting heavy, Hierophant energy. So you are beyond the scope of the norm. You have your own unique way about you. You are someone who really is very unique and individualized. You may not, what I see from this is that this person feels like you may hide that. That you may spend time trying to fit in, that this person sees how magnificent you could be if you pulled back the curtain and just allowed you to be you. Either that or you're already like this and this is what they value in you. They may want that for themselves, right? We're attracted to things that resonate with us. And so either you are already pushing the envelope and that is attracting them, or they see all that's within you and they just want to like pick a little hole in the box that you've like shoved yourself into so that all of that can ooze out and be amazing in this world. It's almost as if this person doesn't want you to be afraid of being who you really are, and that is what you are doing for this person. They are seeing that the way that they view you is that one of the two of you, is the lesson here, and the reason for this relationship is it's very karmic in nature. And I'm not to say that this is like a karmic person, however you guys normally label it, but this is all about finding our truest nature. This relationship is to show us that we can be beautiful in all of the unique ways that we are, and that beauty is more beautiful in this world than to try and conform and to fit into the spaces that society tells us we should fit into. That's a hard task. It's not easy, for example. It's not easy to come, like, let's say that you are of a different, sexual disposition or gender, right? There's like 132 genders or something like that. I don't know. I can't even imagine them all, but like that is something that this would allude to. It's hard to step out and to be who it is, who we are. But well, less in these days, but still, I mean, I work in a certain facet of life where that is still it still is a major consideration. In it's all about the story. In the sphere that I work in, it's all about the story of who you are and why you want to engage in this space. And so that story, people who are just who they are, that story resonates with people, and that's why they are carried through. Some people have spent the first half of their career not bringing some of these things to the surface, and so it's definitely difficult for them to be able to switch that and to enter into the space in this true authentic nature, right? Because how does that change their story and the view that people have on them? It could be tremendously better and it could be not, right? So this relationship is karmic in the sense that it is about, like, what I'm really getting off of this is, if we hide, if we hide all this beauty, if we hide our creative nature, if we hide the things that really matter to us because we have a desk job, or or because our parents, we really want to be a rock and roll musician or artist, but because our parents are like, no, dentist, doctor, lawyer, right? Like, if we don't, we're gonna get what we put out there. That's what I'm really getting from this, is that this person and your dynamic, how they feel about you, is that this is a relationship that highlights that what we put out into the world. If we put ourselves in the box and present that to the world, then what we're going to get back is this very unsatisfying, heavy energy, because it's not our authentic life. The magic in life is pursuing your destiny, not what the confines say. And so this is very important in this dynamic with this person. So again, flip the energies if you need to, but this person feels that this relationship is important in the way that either they are developing and doing the hard work to show their true nature, or you are. Either way. Okay? But that in the end, that when we look back, this relationship is very karmic in the sense that the more that we're able to move out of that box, the more that we're able to be our true creative, amazing self, and to make that change in our life, to put those marks on and those experiences into to put all of that authenticity out there into the world, and to have those marked experiences that when we look back at the end of our life and we look at it, we say, yes, it was all worth it. Like, the main point that we're getting to is that if we live that authenticity, that is the magic of life. And no matter what struggles we went through to do it, in the end, when we look back on it and we take a look at the moments that truly meant the most, it was going to be when we were walking in our truth, when we made the difference an impact on the world that we couldn't have made if we didn't show up in our truest nature, to be able to assist in alchemically changing the energy of this time. This is only for like maybe one or two of you, but this may be a relationship that at the time, this could have been from the past, and at the time it did not work out because these things were not addressed either by the person you're thinking about or by yourself. But it's almost as if it's coming around again so that we can develop and to change the dynamic of it to be truly embracing and authentic, and to try it again as the real people that we are. To brush away all of that, to peel all the layers off, and to engage in this space in a truly authentic way. Right? This doesn't have to be a, how do I explain? This doesn't have to be a same gender, different gender relationship like I explained earlier. Some people may have clicked off. They're like, nope. But it's that same dynamic. It's the fact that we didn't show up. We showed up with a mask on, right? And while that kind of oozed out and the other person, whether it's us or them, could feel that there was something in there, and that's what was so interesting about the person, the mask wasn't fully off. And so we're going to engage in this situation in a different way that's fully authentic, because maybe we showed up as, oh yeah, I do want the 2.5 children, the car, the electric vehicle, and the membership at the tennis club. Like, maybe that's how we showed up because that's what we thought the world was expecting from us. Don't get caught up in the details, guys. It could be whatever you think normal is. I'm using that as a really, how to explain it? Like a really absurd normal. If that's your normal, I'm super sorry. But like for me and where I grew up, that is just like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like trying to like reach for something that's just inconceivable. But the point I'm trying to make in my long-windedness is that we were showing up like that when really maybe we just want one kid or none at all. Maybe we just want a dog. Maybe we just want to, maybe we don't want the house with the white picket fence. Maybe we want to travel the world and live in different places for a couple years here and a couple years there and go where the wind takes us. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But whatever that non-conforming energy is, we're being real about it now. We're engaging with it. We're showing this other person, or they're showing us who they really are. And I think that's the energy that actually solidifies this relationship, that actually makes the magic, that actually takes it into fulfilling that the reason why this came together in the first place. And the more that we stay away from our authentic self, the less this is going to work. And the more that we are our authentic self, the more this will come to be solid, and we'll look back on it and see the moments where we could have had more because we weren't being authentic. Okay. Deck number 3, that is what I have for you. Sorry it was so long-winded. I hope you found something in there that you resonate with. If you did, please go ahead and put a star in the comments for me so that everybody knows that this is the one that you got. You are the dreamer and you are the star. This person sees your true beauty, and you know, go ahead and let the rest of the world see it too, because it can only serve your highest purpose. Be that human exclamation mark. Mahalo deck number 3. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your energy with me. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And with that, that concludes our how do they feel about you. These messages are timeless, and come back and visit them later on to see if they resonated more. Okay? Mahalo nui for your time, and thank you for all of your support. Have a great day.